be in a position to where like I feel all of this power and all of this energy, bro. Like I gotta use it for something higher than myself. I
Yeah.
gotta use it for something much more greater than myself. Like, you know, I feel like that would be selfish for me not to give that energy and give that light off to the people. So, you know, the people that's watched my triumphs and they've watched my journey and they've watched my frequency throughout this whole entire industry. And it's like, you know, patience, man. Patience has been the key. Patience in all of this. So it's good, man. We evolving, we growing, we learning, and we making mistakes. But it's just more about just being a servant, serving people, bro. And I just want to keep growing, bro. And just, you don't know what it look like, but I know what it feel like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that voice right there is a guy who's tried and true through trials and tribulations. Battle tested, have to be Tracy G. I known the man every time he come up on the show, I give him a nice intro. But from the 2008 Gutter release to the Ruthless release of the Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Trials and Tribulations, see how I did that? Now we up to Mr. Hood, ladies and gentlemen. This dude has been consistent with us. I mentioned it before. Last time we saw him was this time last year, almost to the date, damn near, when we came to Miami and he came to our broadcast and agreed to do a couple of songs for free. You know, he came to be with the folks of Miami, Florida, and gave them the same type of concert they would have to pay a lot of money for because that's the type of dude he is. And he's the one that put the health into rap. Most recently, welcome him back to the show, Mr. Hood himself, the one and only Ace Hood. Big round of applause.
Hood.
Ace Hood.
Hey, my brother, family.
Damn,
man.
we was in Miami around this time last year?
Yup, and that joint was sexy. That was one of the best, to me, the best live broadcast. So thank you so much, Ace, for being a part of that.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Hey, man, it's Ace Hood, y'all. Man, it's been a while since we saw you. So much has happened. You know, I really love your conversation now, man. I really like what you've been about, and even listening to the Self-Preservation Project, which was like a 3-track EP that you put out. Even in the titles, Finding My Way, Smooth Criminal, Tap In. You know, I just been hearing this evolution and this growth. We even talked about it last time you was at our station. So what's been going on with Ace Hood? Like, what's going on with you right now, Ace Hood?
Well, what's going on at this particular moment, you know, I'm self-preserving, obviously. You know, so much has changed, man. I think with me, I've grown so much. I think in my life, I just been focusing on how to sharpen myself as a person, you know, as a father, just all, you know, just a lot of internal work, you know, just so that's, I feel like that's the space that I'm in. It's just learning about who I am, learning about what I want to create, you know, my legacy and the things that I want to leave behind, and just all the great things that I want to do on this earth while I'm here, you know, and whatever that looks like for the greater good. I think like that's where I am right now currently in my life. I'm a married man. I'm happy. I'm independent. I'm a father. You know, I make my own decisions when it comes to creativity in terms of my projects and anything that I'm a part of. I love it. You know, I'm a part of purpose-driven work. You know, and it's just, you know, I'm into my fitness, so I'm living a happier, healthier life too as well. So that's where I am currently standing right now. I'm just becoming, I would say.
Becoming. I read that book by Michelle Obama and saw the documentary.
Yes,
2 points.
Got to read the book.
I read it. I'm becoming too. Yo, when we saw you last time, you were engaged, but you weren't married. Now you're married. You got married earlier this year, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So how long were you
February.
engaged? February, right? How
Mm-hmm.
long were you
February.
engaged? Because Heather been trying to get me to start thinking about marriage. How
No. Let's rephrase that, Ace. I'm trying to. He's been thinking about it, but that's not enough. I've been trying to get him to seriously consider marriage.
I agree, Tracy. I do agree. I think that we were, you know, so we were engaged for about. Actually, we got engaged last year, 2019. I was in April because it was like the ending of April, so it was around like a birthday. I wanted to do it. So literally, I think like less than a year I was engaged.
Less than a year, but how long were
Less
y'all?
than a year after y'all met?
Well, we were together 5 years prior to that.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, exactly. It's going on like about 6 years now. But at that time, it was about 4.5, 5 years where we were standing. Yep.
And did you know that you wanted to eventually, hey, Ace, this is Tracy. Did you know that you eventually
Hey.
wanted to be a married man prior to even meeting Sheila? Or was it meeting the right person had you thinking, yo, okay, this is the path I want?
I think it was something that I always wanted, honestly. Like, I always wanted a family, I always wanted, I feel like a woman who could stand by me, and we could stand by each other and help build and lift each other up. I think it's just, it was just all about me being in the right place and me being in the right frequency at the time in order to, really call that forward. But I think it's, growing up, even though it wasn't the healthiest dynamic with the maybe relationship with my mother and my stepfather, because my father wasn't around. So, she showed me an example of what marriage is. And even though, to her it wasn't as healthy and she did the best that they could do, for me, I always wanted that, but I knew I wanted it to look differently, So I just felt like, there's power in that. There's real strength. And I know we would watch so many movies and so many things that would tell us otherwise. But for me, man, I just always felt like there was a strength if two people can figure it out, if they can work together and decide that we're going to be in it for the greater good and, and just give each other love, man. I think in ways in which we've never felt it before and ways in which, we've never seen it. So I think it was just figuring out that, navigating on how, what would it look like and what would it feel like, and can I still be who I am in the midst of all of this as well. So, but I definitely knew at some point I wanted to get married. Yeah.
That's dope.
You weren't ever scared of the idea because it's. Look, man, this sounds cliche and across the board, but in our mentality, the way we're brought up is, marriage means something differently in the way that it's proposed to women or the way that it may be to little girls and to the way it's proposed or suggested to men. It's always been a little bit of difference in how we see marriage, the institution of marriage, the idea of being with one person for the rest of your life, and immaturely, a lot of times we think that it's going to affect any type of growth or progress in us as an individual. And that kind of results in fear or, the fear, the idea of being locked down.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, Sway. Like I was, man, it took so much work, man, and time for me to honestly get to this place. Like, there were so many things that subconsciously that I was dealing with and working through it just in the beginning of our relationship. I wasn't this person, deep down I believe that women would take away from your career. I believe that women wouldn't, having a woman around, just you would lose your focus in some sense, because I think that just what I was paying attention to at that particular time was just, I was around people who weren't, always super respectful of women and, and they just had different dynamics and they wasn't as healthy. So I think for me, I had those fears in the back of my mind until I was able to until you're able to really get with somebody and you can have real conversations and they can you can start shedding things away because, people start to, you meet somebody that doesn't judge you and they help you move through these things and say you're not the only person that thinks like this. You're not the only person that go through stuff like this. And it's a lot of men think this way because a lot of men want to be, financially abundant and we want to have all our ducks in a row, and that's what we taught mainly. So it's like if any of those things are lacking, it's feeling like, we're not in a position to get married. But, honestly, it's really an illusion. You're never really in a place to where you're ready to be married. I feel like where you're absolutely ready or you're in a place to where you're absolutely ready to have a child. I just think that, you just make a choice and you make a decision to say, I'm gonna be in this thing, I'm going to stay in it, and I'm going to just give my best self within being in this situation. And, just seeing, I feel like if you stay true in the situation and setting your intentions will help a lot. So I've just done so much work on it. But yes, where I was, and I did come from that point at some place I was there.
Ace Hood is here. I want to open up the phone lines to 888-742-3345. Citizens, we're in the beginning of this conversation with Ace Hood. When and he's been putting out music for a long time. One of the things I like about you, I'm not making a comparison in terms of what you guys accomplished, but I'm trying to think of, you were with We the Best Music at one point, and the music group with Khaled, and who has gone on to become this, this colossal public figure in many ways, a big success and everything that he's been able to touch, and he preaches family as well and positivity. But your thing with him didn't work out, right?
Yes.
Eventually, your partnership dissolved, and it put you in a position where you had to self-preserve.
Yes.
And the way this industry works is when you're with somebody who's favored or somebody who's popular, and then you're no longer with them, you kind of lose the connections, you lose the ties, you lose those relationships, and many times, in many ways, that you built while you were with that person. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You had to endure that to get to where you are. What was that process like for you? What disappointed you about it, and then where did you find strength to get to the point where you're making the kind of music you're making and releasing EPs called Self-Preservation?
So I think that's an amazing question, because honestly, that has been the hardest thing. One of the hardest things I think I probably had to do in my life, honestly, was go from being in a situation to where I was with this entire team, an entire label, a lot of moving pieces, to being now in a place where I'm independent and there are not as many moving pieces, or it's just the way you go about connecting these pieces to your puzzle is just, it looks very different from where I was taught. Honestly, Sway, I'm still working through all of that. I got a lot of, for me, what I learned about it all is just to be able to how did I find strength, man? I found strength, honestly, through, really just failing, man. Failing and just deciding to say, you know what, I'm not gonna stay in this place. I've had my triumphs and my hardships throughout the time, and it's really been tough in the beginning to really build the relationships and structure, because I felt like a lot of people, honestly speaking, were choosing sides. So a lot of conversations I would have, it was just they would always be, sometimes on the fence about things. But the great thing about all of this is that I've always had a clean face. I've always treated people with respect. So doubling back, I think above all, my goal was just to stay true. So it allowed me to search internally, because I started to see in so many ways how I just felt a lack of. I just felt like not having a team and not having that superior promotion behind you and stuff like that. It hindered me, because for a while, it took me a while to move past who I thought I was. And I was Ace Hood, this guy on Bugatti. And for me, it was, a part of me had to just search inside, because I didn't want to chase that person. I knew that person no longer existed. I knew I needed to become something different, something, just a higher version, a better version of who this man is. So it just it sent me on a journey, and that's what sent me on a personal journey. It's just finding out, who are you, man? What do you want to create for yourself? What do you want to say to the people? What's your overall journey? What's your goal? What's your intention? So all of these questions led back to just me finding the work, me figuring out who I am as a person outside of this Ace Hood and this Bugatti. Who are you at heart? Who are you as a person? And I think I had forgotten that for so long, because I was forced, I was just in a position where the world and everything was new for me. But I think navigating that was just what I was able to find the strength was just me setting my intention and deciding that, this is what I want to create for myself long term. This is who I want to become. This is who I want to be. I want to be a man of health and wellness. I want to be a man who tells you about my story and what I went through, and hopefully in the truest way possible. And I know that can be detrimental for some artists, but I just wanted to feel like, man, if I gave truth to people and I just showed honesty and be real, I can restructure these relationships. I can come from a place that nobody has really ever came from before. I don't got to deal with this from fear or hate or go at Khaled or be mad at him. How about I just deal with this in a way that's going to be productive for myself and my being and for my situation and for what I want to put, and just the energy I want to put into the universe. So it's been my greatest battle, my biggest struggle. But I also think that there's so many lessons within that's taught me, that's gotten me to this place right here of just really understanding that, again, I am the jewel, I am the gem, and just focusing my attention on that.
Ace Hood, man. Give that man a round of applause. I like that response, brother. Because I know it's been hard, and I'm just keeping it 100. I've been watching you.
Facts, bro. Facts. I
know.
love that, man, because, Sway, I think that's so important, man. I think that, even throughout this time, even though to the exterior world and people, man, I think they see it from me and like, man, maybe Ace has got to figure out to a certain extent. But, I fought them tough days, man, tough battles of being emotional and tears and not knowing it, not even knowing whether it was for me still. It's just like I've really went through every emotion possible, dealing with this experience, man. And like I think like people may see the exterior and the shape and the happiness, but it's like, bro, it was a lot. It took a whole lot for me to get to that place.
Hey, so if you saw Khaled today, how would y'all rapport be, you think?
I don't know what he would be, man. I can't speak for people. I know who I want to be in this world, and I know I'm going to be a man of respect. I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man who just don't compromise on that, man. Like, I respect myself first above all. So when people see me respecting Khaled and saying, oh, man, but he don't deserve and this and that, it ain't about that. It's what I deserve. It's how I feel. And I think that as a man, I give off love, respect, honor, and that's just who I am. So, so that'll never change about me, which means that if I see him, man, it'll just be always love on my end because we did something special, man. That was history. That was, legendary. And I think that it was great. But sometimes, like you say, relationships or situations diminish, and it only allows something else to be created. When you're in the space of the unknown, you can create new. So I'm not mad at that.
Ace Hood, man. The project is called Mr. Hood. Is out tomorrow. And,
out tomorrow.
Yeah, man. The album is out tomorrow. He's doing it on his own 2 feet. Tiffany, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Doing well.
Hey,
Tiffany, Tiff calling from California.
Hey.
Ace Hood.
Callie, how you doing? Callie.
Yeah, I'm doing good. First, I want to tell Sway that I'm actually from Oakland, and so I remember you from those days. And so I just enjoyed your journey, and I stay supporting and just keep it up.
Thank you very much, Tiff. You know me, Tiff. You remember the locks. You know how I had the, Tiff, I had the town. I was shaking the dreads before 40 made the song.
Yes, you were. I do remember. So
Go ahead.
I just wanted to tell Ace that, I appreciate your journey, and I'm proud of your growth. It's refreshing to hear a young black male in your industry speak on your life and your relationship and marriage and the way that you're doing. It's the voice that the young men need to hear, and I appreciate that. And I've been following you, and I see the growth. And I just want to say that just keep it up because that's what our young men need to hear. And this is coming from a woman that's been married for 14 years, going on 15, with my husband for 21. And so it happens. It's just not being promoted.
Wow.
That's love. Yeah.
God bless you. That's love. So thank you so much.
And make sure you get that album, too. Y'all can rock out. You and your husband can rock out, too.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right.
For sure. I follow. I know who's coming.
Okay.
I love
it.
Tiff, you a citizen. All
Let's
right.
wait in the morning, Tiff.
We're going to go to Michigan. Jay, what up, Jay?
What up,
long
Jay?
time no here. Hope everybody's well. Ace Hood, bruh. Listen, I'm a 48-year-old hip-hop head. I'm in great condition. I got a wife of 20 years. And I got to tell you, man, like, you are the epitome of the phrase, a life unexamined is not worth living. Your album, Undefeated, oh, my God. But that's got me through so many workouts, 45 minutes of cardio. I just put you on, and I just kill it, bro. Especially when you start hitting it, when you get on the bag, hitting the bag. Woo-wee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I just want to say thank you, bro. I really appreciate you. I appreciate the energy you put out. You've inspired me just personally. I'm so grateful for you, man. So take care, and I'm Sway.
Love to you,
I've had a chance to talk to Common. So many people on your show, bro. Thank you, man.
It's all love, Jay. Stay in there with us, man. We ain't going nowhere either, okay? Man, I appreciate you. You're a super citizen.
Let's wait in the morning, Jay.
Okay, we gonna go to Georgia. Aaron, what up, Georgia? Aaron, how you doing? It's Aaron, y'all.
What up, Aaron?
Yeah, Sway, what's up, Sway?
What's popping with you? Ace Hood
man.
on here.
Hey man, I'm from the crib, man. I'm from Liberty City, bro, out the city. You know what I'm saying? And I know, man, growing up down there in the city, man, it sometimes, you know, the people you're around down there and the people in the music industry, it's like they don't like to help each other out sometimes, man. And you know what Cali did for you. You know, I just got one thing that says, like, everything come in your life for a reason and a season sometime, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, it's all love. You know how you want to be and where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? It is all love, man. But, Sway, you know, I don't know. Ace make a test of this, Sway. But I know back in the days, man, it was a DJ, Uncle Al from Miami, man. You don't hear nothing about Al no more. Nobody pay him no homage down there. Nobody talk about him. They canceled his festival and everything, man. I mean, so it's like, I don't know. Miami just ain't what it used to be, man. You know what I'm saying? We need more love, especially coming from artists trying to help each other out, man. You look at Atlanta, man. Them guys help each other out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody put something out, whether they one-hit wonders or what, but they helping each other out, giving each other a shot. You don't get that in Miami like that, man. You get people coming from everywhere, coming to take from Miami, just like people coming to hip-hop culture and rob from the culture. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we need more love down there, man, when it comes to that music game, man. You know, in Cali, I mess with Cali, man, but Uncle Al, man, if Uncle Al was still here on this earth today, man, rest in peace to him, man. You know
Uncle Al,
I really don't think Cali would have had that opportunity.
I remember Uncle Al because he was all about peace. I remember him. He passed. He passed.
In the hood, man.
Yeah, peace in the hood. I remember him. I met him before because we were all a part of these DJ coalitions. He passed in the early 2000s. But you know what, Aaron? By you saying that, you putting him out there. Y'all should look him up. DJ Uncle Al, Peace in the Hood Festival.
Straight up, man. Peace in the hood, 15 to 71st, baby. Keep them cars moving. You know what I'm saying?
There it is, man.
Ace, keep doing what you're doing, though, Ace, man. Much love to you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep your head up, boy. It's going to work out for you. Trust me.
We gonna do a lyrical breakdown in a second. Tracy G, I know you had a question for Ace too, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Ace. You know, hearing all of this wisdom just spill out of you, and especially as a black man, because I know how society can just so easily toss y'all to the side, think that they already know what is about to come out your mouth, what your past has been, what your future will be. And I couldn't help but think about the death of George Floyd, you know? And especially as an artist, the beautiful capabilities that we have is to recycle pain, right? Into something that makes others feel. And I wonder, when this happens, do you immediately just go pen to paper? Do you yourself just sit down and have to process because of kind of how close to home it is, even though George may not be, you know, directly related to you, but just off the strength of being a black man, he is, right? So how does that impact your art? And then also, because you are a father, how do you speak about this with your children?
Oh, that is a great question. For me, honestly, Tracy, it takes some time for me to process it. I think, sadly, I've seen so much trauma in my life, man. I've seen, I've been on the opposite end of just a lot of trauma, man, and a lot of violence, I feel like, to a certain degree when I was younger and stuff. So it's a lot that I've seen. And I think that instantly there's like a numbness that comes in my mind every time something like that happens, you know, because, again, I'm always reminded of who we are, who I am, and who we all are, and what we're trying to, I don't know, we just reminded how dangerous it is to be black in this in this world, and I think that that's a very scary thing. And for me, for a long time, I feared for my children. That's the honest truth. I feared for my children's safety and their life, and one of the largest situations was the mass murder of the school shooting years ago, and I think this is when my daughter actually just started going to school. And it was one of the most devastating times for me ever, just to see, just to be reminded of the reality. And now to be a man and a father with children has been has been scary. So sometimes, so it's not really pen to paper. It's just, for me now, it's thinking about, well, what can I do? Well, what can I say? And what's my place? And how can I use my voice in this time? I think that naturally, you're right. I think when you say that we're used to recycling pain, because I think that a lot of us respond the same way when a traumatic event like this does happen. We get in a phase of reposting, and then we feel angered, and we want to result this anger, and this anger turns to violence. But as I'm starting to understand things now, I'm starting to understand, like, anger for us isn't the way. Like, violence isn't the way. Not anger, rather, or violence necessarily. As I think about everything that's happening now, I just think that, nothing healthy or nothing powerful can manifest from the place of fear, I think, or that's how I think of it now. I just think about, like, that's what they want us to do. I think they want us to be upset. They want us to be fearful. They want us to go out there and make decisions that, that doesn't benefit us as the black people, and I think, like, for long as I've known, I've always felt like in some way the government, I know this is kind of far, that the government has been against us in some way. So again, I say this to say that I think it takes for us to look internally in some ways and at our lives in ways in which, how can we become, I don't know, I think it's how we become, pull out our value as black people more, because I think that the cycle of just living, I think that's what I'm tired of. I think that's the numbing feeling of feeling like we're in a position of hopelessness. And I think that we don't have to be in a place of hopelessness. I think we can be in a more place of just like, maybe it's a place of community coming together, or maybe, there's just a higher solution that I know. And I feel like above all, that's what I think when I think about the George Floyd situation, is thinking about what can I say, or how can I use my platform to say something that hasn't been said? Because, in the hip-hop industry, we want to get mad and we want to get upset and we want to say F the cops and F the police and bang up stuff and, just, ruin police territory and all of this type of stuff. And I just don't think that is fully the way to do it. I want to say that, and that's my point on that. But your other question was what, Tracy G? I'm sorry, I kind of went off on that, but I have so many thoughts around that. That was great.
Yeah, you actually, Ace, was able to string both the answers together, but it was specifically just you as an artist, you immediately go to pen to pad, or do you recognize your humanity first and just process? And then you spoke to us about how you speak about these things with your children.
And how do I speak with my children? So for me, I've always liked to, show them, well, kind of, how can I say? So I like to build around the subject as opposed to bringing them directly to it, if that makes sense. So it's making sure that they're knowledgeable about black culture, making sure that they're knowledgeable about black figures and where we came from. So it's telling them the story of the origin. So it's telling them how we got into where we are now. So because I think that in our generation, especially like with the newer generation, I think like the narrative, we lack narrative. I think a lot of people don't know our story in terms of black people, in terms of black history. So I think that that's important first for them to fully understand why we're in a position today for us to be black people and to be quote unquote free people, and to yet still be getting killed and to be, be killed by police officers and just people of the other color. So it's like, again, it's searching inside. So for me, it's making sure that they are knowledgeable about what happened before us, so they can fully understand the time now. So it's just whether it's showing them little pictures on slavery and how it came about and what our ancestors and what people before us went through. So that's the kind of teachings that I would usually teach my kids before I bring something like this to them.
Ace Hood is here. New project is Mr. Hood is out tomorrow. And what we did too with my daughter, I've always shown her those things, but also what happened before slavery. Who were we before people were brought here, and who were some of our ancestors? And you can look it up too. I got some books, man. I got your number. I'll shoot them to you too. Prior to this fairy tale about Christopher Columbus discovering this land, and that he was the first to embark on this land. That's not true. And and so there were folks way before him that came to this piece of land. And so I go even that deep, so that history isn't just defined by these hundreds of years of slavery that happened in the States, and give that full picture. These are things that are so important, the same way it's important for somebody who's from Ireland, or somebody who's from Australia, or somebody who's from France, to know their history. It's important that we know ours and how far it goes back. Ace Hood is here, man. I'm going to play a song. I was going to do a lyrical breakdown, but, bro, you've been breaking down lyrics so great. You've been dropping so many gems that I don't even know if we got to do the lyrical breakdown. But I want to come back, and you got a few more calls. I'm going to play this song off the project. It's called Look in My Eyes. And this is, for me, one of the standout songs. What was behind you writing this song?
Oh, man. That was, that came from a place of just frustration. I think at some point, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of happiness as well going on there. A little bit of just, I think I was working through all emotions in that, during that time, man. But I think it's just, look at myself, and it's kind of like a letter to myself, a message to myself, right, in a way. But that same message that I'm saying to myself is me also saying, it's the same message that you can also see in yourself. So it's like my troubles aren't your troubles technically, but we go through the same things, and how we all are connected. So it's like looking in my eyes, it's kind of like taking a look in your own eyes, because we all are trying to work through our hardships. We all are trying to work through the things that's, keeping us small in life, or keeping us, keeping us from really striving to that next level. So look in my eyes was just like, man, just look at my truth, man. Like, this is me just uncovering all the scars and saying, man, this is what I look like underneath it all. Like, I think that's what that was.
Ace Hood, man, look in my eyes. 888-742-3345. Give us a call. Sway in the morning. Shade 405.
Just wanted to drop something for the times, speaking on right now, speaking on, people just home, you know what I'm saying, with their family, with their children, just dealing with life, dealing with all of this unknown and all of this unexpected energy with the world and with this whole pandemic, man. I just want to give y'all love, tell y'all to, make sure you keep your mindset, you know what I'm saying, make sure you keep good energy and keep good vibes, and just make sure you're taking care of yourself, you know what I mean, make sure you're praying, make sure you're giving thanks. It's a great time and a great space for us to really understand who we are as people, you know what I'm saying. When you get silent, you get quiet, you're forced to be in predicaments like this, man, we really get to open up, you dig, so.
That's my man Ace Hood on the line with us right now. Big round of applause for him. He got the new project. Mr. Hood is out tomorrow.
Yes.
He also got the 3-track EP, Self-Preservation. That's available right now. He gave us a little something to treat before the album, man. You got one of your biggest fans on the line that's just been holding forever, has been dying to talk to you, man. It's the one and only Lord Sear, ladies and gentlemen. Lord Sear has answered.
Wow.
Sear, what up, boy?
What up, man?
Man?
How you doing, Sear? Heather and Tracy, happy to hear from you, bro.
Yeah, hi, Sear.
Hey, I like that joint. That joint's like, that's just all right. I don't smoke weed, but I was about to light one up.
You like that Ace Hood joint? Look into my eyes.
Yeah, man, that's just all right. I like that.
Yo, you hear that, Ace? That's Lord Sear, man.
Hey, Sear, man, I appreciate that, my brother. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man, goddamn. I just called to say hello. I don't want to, bother you guys anymore. I know.
No,
y'all doing your thing.
Sear, what else you like about Ace Hood, man? Like, this dude has just been dropping these gems, man. For you to call, like, Sear don't just call, Ace. He don't just do that, man. What else you like about him, bro?
I just interviewed the brother. I think he's a good, positive brother. His music is dope, and he stays active. And a very positive music and stuff he puts out, man. And people don't give him the just due that he should get. You know what I mean? And I respect the brother very much.
You hear that, Heather?
Oh, Sway, you gave. Hey, what's up, Ace? This is Heather. Sway, you gave Sierra, Easy Way Out. I mean, the bigger question is, Ace Hood, why do you like Sierra? It's easy to love Ace Hood. We understand why everybody, but Ace Hood, why do you even talk to Lord Sear?
But Ace, hold on. Ace, you know what, Ace? When you know a person like has to be, if jealousy gets you nowhere. All right? That's cool, you know?
Hey, Sir, you like Ace Hood's body? You were saying that to me before. You like his body?
Yeah,
you told me that he was on. I couldn't get no sleep. You know? Now I'm all right. Now I can tell you a nap.
Yo, man.
Love for you, bro.
Lord Sear, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause, man. I love that. Hey, man, I'm glad you're doing well, Sear.
Oh, man, I'm trying, brother. I'm just out here chilling.
Okay, man. You about to fall asleep on the phone call, my man, Lord Sear, man.
Excuse me?
I said, you a citizen, Lord Sear.
No, he's not.
Shit. None of y'all ain't shit. I hate
Yo, we'll take one more caller. Henry, what up, Henry?
Henry.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm great, man. Say what's up to Ace Hood.
Ace, my friend, I went to Deerfield Beach High School in 07, and I remember your mom, man. I would talk to her all the time in the hallways, and I remember your music coming up in the beginning, you know, and I just want to let you know that God's with you, man. I know you've been through some tough times. We all have. We're not perfect people. Just keep your head up and keep marching forward, man, because where you've been, where you started, and where you're at now, you're a perfect example. A perfect example.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, man.
So wait a second. They went to the same. He knows his mom. What is? I don't understand.
Yeah, I went to Deerfield Beach High School.
Oh, to the same high school. Okay.
To the same high school, yeah. And your mom worked there. She was like a helper over there, and I would always speak to her.
Yeah, she was security out to Deerfield High School.
Yes. I remember her. She'd wear glasses. Always had the curly long hair.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey,
yeah,
what was he like? What was he like in high school? Did he have muscles?
Well, I don't remember him too much in high school because when I was coming in, he was leaving. You know,
okay.
But I remember his music, his first tracks, and me and my friends were like, "Wow, this guy right here, he's got it." You know.
Okay, that's dope, Henry, man.
Get
the new tracks. Mr. Hood
I was listening to it. He's on fire.
Yeah, so get the whole project, download it, get him more money.
He's on fire. Don't worry, my friend. Keep your head up. God's with you, buddy.
All right, you're a citizen, brother. All right,
hey, that's love.
That is love, man. You know, I don't know citizens if you know, but there was a time that Ace Hood and I were like arch nemesis on push-ups, and I think I may have inspired him. What was that, Tracy?
I'm listening. I'm verifying.
No, the whole shredded movement, I think was, just me pushing him to be the best him. Now, okay. I will admit I stopped doing mine, and he kept going. So that's just an example of what you can do for yourself. Don't even mention it, Ace. It's all good, man. Don't even mention it.
No problem. I appreciate you, man. No problem, bro. Thank you for that.
No, it's love, bro. It's love, man. You keep doing it. Before I let you go, man, Jacquees is one of my homies. He's one of those artists that one of those people who's an artist. I say that specifically because that's how I see him. That reaches out when there's nothing going on. Jacquees will just FaceTime me. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, OG, man? I'm just let me run something by you, man, and just talk. And he don't want nothing. He ain't asking for nothing. He's just checking in. And the two of you got together and did a song. Is that your homie, or was it just for the song?
That's the homie. Jacquees is the homie. Yeah, that's my homie. I would say that for sure. Shout out to Jacquees too, man. Because I just think, it could just be so stressful throughout this process of just obviously being independent and stuff and just reaching out to him. When I sent him the record, he hit me back immediately, same thing like you just said, on FaceTime. It was like, bro, 2 days later, bro, I love this record, man. I love the record. He cut the vocals ASAP. You know what I'm saying? So just the fact that he was excited about it, he was happy to be a part of the record. You know, I think that above all, man, and was just I'm really, really grateful for. Really grateful for.
Is that now 12 o'clock is the name of the song, and is this one of the singles you're pushing, or is it just?
Yeah. This the single right here. I wanted to do something different, but I think a part of me too. You know, I want the fans probably to choose to see, you know, decide on what it is that they like, but ultimately 12 o'clock is the official single that we're pushing. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got to bang it with this one, man. Go hard on it. Go long with it. What I mean by that, sometimes we expect instant gratification in a spontaneous response. The game doesn't work like that for everybody, especially when you're independent. So you could walk a song like this for a long period of time, and people will gradually catch on. It's a strong song, and the two of you together is going to definitely draw attention. So go with it. I like the song. And I like your project. And thank you, Ace Hood, man, for being honest and transparent in this interview. And I want citizens, follow this man, Ace Hood. If you ain't following him, follow him, and tell your wife we said hi.
Yes, I will do, my brother. Love to y'all, man. Sway, I just gotta say, man, like, I appreciate all of y'all. Heather, Tracy, man, all of y'all. Y'all are family. I'm always looking forward to talking to you guys. Like, I feel like I want to be friends with y'all in just, like, real life outside of just this, you know, because, like, I got a lot of ideas and, like, you know, I think community is important, you know, obviously, like, you know, so I just love what you're saying about Jacquees hitting you up and contact, you know, just outside of just what's happening and just checking in and just advice and stuff. And I just think I appreciate y'all for allowing me to use y'all platform and just to always be there for open arms with me, my wife, and just anything that I got going on. I love y'all, man, and I truly, 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 truly appreciate everything you guys have done and continue to do for the world, for yourself, for me, for people, for XM Radio, all of that, man. Like, you guys are amazing, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, man. And I just, to me, everything you said is so on point, and all I'm hearing is like an open invitation. So when we come down to Florida, Heather, we're going to get some barbecue from Ace Hood and his wife. That's what I saw. That's what that meant, right? Okay, there it is, man. Give it up for Ace.
My name.
Oh, Tracy too. Tracy, I'm sorry, Tracy.
The hell? That's
Tracy,
not people's.
Somebody got to drive. All right. This is.
That's wild.
This is. All right, we ain't gonna leave her out. This is 12 o'clock featuring Jacquees, Ace Hood, man. The new album, Mr. Hood, available at midnight. Yo, citizens, support it. Ace, have a great day. Okay.
You too, y'all too, bro. Love.
All right, Sway the morning, Shade 4-5.